Hey, what's up you guys? So this week I am coming out with a speed drawing video. Hold up, don't panic. I am just having some issues with AT&T, so until I get all of that resolved, which should be within the next few days, the next IMVU video will be out to you. I don't really want to reveal what I'm doing. Unless you're on my Twitter or Instagram, then you obviously know what the next video is about. But those of you who are not on any of those accounts, I'm not going to tell you yet. But either way, I know there's a hurricane coming through and it's going to be a little more of a delay. Hopefully not, but I hear that we are going to be getting a bunch of storms off of the hurricane when it hits within the next day or so. I'm not entirely sure when that's supposed to happen, but either way, less than a week, the next IMVU video will be out. So those of you who are just here for those, I will see you next week, I hope. And the rest of you, I hope you enjoy the video. Alright, so I'm going to get Corel Painter Light pulled up, and I'm going to start sketching. I was having a little bit of issues getting my sketch pad to really respond, so this is going to look a little rougher than usual, definitely. My sketches, if I have like intent of making them into like a vector cartoon, they usually look a little rough because I really just need a reference point. I'm sorry. I can just make vector right off the top of my head, but the easiest way, and as far as like getting it done quicker and accuracy and all that good jazz, is to sketch it out first. I'm not quite sure how many other people do this, but it's just kind of something I just started doing when I was in college, and I just kind of kept doing it. It seems to work out very, very well, and in my own experience, I'm sure other people have their own little ways of doing this, but this is by far the easiest way that I've found so far. Yeah, my sketch pad is so worn out and old that any strokes less than half an inch, it's just not wanting to register, so I'm having a little trouble with the face here, but I'm about to just bypass this because I about have everything I need to start my vector. I just need to try to do a little bit more. No, okay, I give up. Alright, now I'm going to Inkscape, and I already have my sketch pulled up, and I'm going to just start using my pen tool and outlining the head. I use an assembly method. I'll assemble the head, the ears, both in front and behind, and just make them in their own little objects. It seems to work out very well doing it in this method. And I'm going to adjust the handles. Alright, I'll make the eye. Just round out the bottom, bring down the edges. Adjust the middle a little more, and now I want to make the body. Make the body its own object. I'm just going to focus on what it looks like as a whole. I'm not going to worry about hiding it around other objects because I will get to that in just a minute. Alright, I'm going to do the tail, we'll finish that up. To round out the edges. Alright. Do a little more adjustments. I'm going to do this with all the nods. Alright. Let's go down more, adjust it a little more, get closer to the bubble, pull this one out a little further. Make the tail look a little more proportioned. because most tails are thinner towards the butt and then they get thicker the further they go out, usually. Sometimes. I mean, I guess realistically it's usually about the same width all the way down, but I like real feminine cartoons and stuff. I don't know. I'm gonna work on the cute little paws. This is a kitty, by the way, if anyone can't tell. I know it's probably hard to tell what the hell I was making for a minute, but yes, I'm making a kitty cartoon. Alright, just pause a little bit more. I'm going to make the toes. Make them look a little visible. Bring that down a little more. To delete this segment in between the two nods. Click that there. Alright, and now we'll start making the feet. Ooh, this is a difficult part, because I did not do the feet right very well in the sketch, so making up for that's going to be a little difficult right here. Ooh, this is looking weird. Okay, uh-oh, now we're just looking wrong. Okay, just a little more. Keep adjusting until it looks right. Keep working it out. We'll get there eventually. Pull down the thigh a little bit. Broaden the leg out a little first. What is looking weird here? Alright, that looks okay. Now we're gonna start making the little feet. Toes, I'm sorry, upon the feet. Make those into groups so that I can just kind of click and drag into one solid piece instead of moving all the little little pieces inside the group. Makes it a lot easier to keep up with everything. Now I want to make this little accessory on the tail. I'll need to make that more towards the middle there. Okay. Now I'm going to just make the moon. I have a very odd method for moons. I do this weird half diamond shape thing here. It's usually not perfect. I don't really focus on making it perfect until I start shaping the nods. So keep that in mind when you do this sort of thing. It's gonna look a little strange before you start adjusting the nods. So never feel bad about your artwork. It'll get there. You just gotta work on it a little bit. Move and adjust the nods a little more. Okay. Well, I think almost ready for some color, but I'm gonna make the bubble first. Yes, I'm making an orb kitty. That's what I'm gonna call it. You are my orb kitty. I don't know what an orb kitty is, but this is what you are. It's cute. And then I'm just gonna call it bubble. Even though I clearly just called you an orb. Maybe name it. I'm going to now start adjusting the artwork a little more to make it look like she is laying comfortably in the bubble. So I'm going to have to adjust the backside, the tail, the head, pretty well everything. So just push those out and bring them down a little bit more. And we're working on the tail, going to bring it down a little bit and going to shape up the bottom part just a little bit more and make it more proportional down towards the lower back end. we're going to smooth out the weird awkward spot between the tail and the legs. And adjust those nods a little bit more around the tail to make it look more circular. And look a little, I don't know, proportionate, I guess. Alright, go make a little more adjustment behind the head. Make it look a little more proportionate. We're going to have to pull the face back because we just had to adjust the head closer to the bubble. And I wanted to still want my cat to look more like a kitten than a full-grown adult. Alright, and now we're going to adjust the width and make that a little thin and bring the whiskers down a little bit. Alright. It looks a little more better without looking too realistic because this is a cartoon. Alright, we'll make a little more adjustments. And we're going to copy and duplicate the paws on both ends of the cat, and we're going to bring them up a little bit to make it look like they're both there. And now we're going to start bringing in the color. The cool part about vector is that you don't have to mess with all that dumb feel and paint and stuff. You can just set it as one solid without having to feel any awkward spacing and whatnot. I need to make all that one solid, the same gray. And you'll notice the back part of the paws and stuff are slightly darker than the ones in the front. That's to create a little bit of a shading effect without it being too overwhelming. And we had to cut off the line around the head to make it blend in with the rest of the body. Right, and now we need to bring that toe down one to proportion it out with the rest of the toes. And we gotta add color to the tail, and we're gonna make it the same color as the rest of the body. And we're going to put the color in up here, and I'm going to add a gradient to this weird hanging piece between the accessory on the tail and the moon. I'm not sure why, it just looks right. I'm going to add a gradient to the moon to make it look a little more crazier and stand outish, because it is focused, because that is like towards the center of the art piece. And that's usually where the first place a person's eye focuses on, is usually directly in the middle. And now we're going to edit our bubble. Actually, wait. No. Add a little more fur to the tail first, because I just noticed a couple of places are looking a little too bland compared to the rest of it. So we're going to add just a tad bit more fur around the edges, and we're going to add a fill. And we're going to add a highlight towards the front of the band. To add a highlight in the center of the moon. And we're going to make that a little more vibrant to make it look like there's a highlight there. Going to add a little effect to the bubble here. kind of look like glass at first. And now, when you get these floating objects right here, the best thing to do is just click on all of them, cut them, and then paste them on the layer with the rest of the artwork. That way so you don't have to worry about separation and what you just witnessed right there. And we're going to separate the bubble into 2 assembly pieces. We're going to have the actual outline to cover up the outline of the cat itself, and then we're going to have the actual feel that's going to create the bubble, like the frost effect, and it's going to hold the extra shine like effects around the edges, and we'll get to that in just a second. Alright, we'll go ahead and make our background so we can see exactly how well our bubble's looking. I want to add like a little gradient effect to the background. You don't have to do that, that's just my preferred thing to do to kind of give you a better idea of how transparent this image actually is. I'm going to make sure to make that center part black and the outer part white if you're trying to get the same exact effect that I'm showing you right here. And now we're going to add a shine effect manually. So we're going to add a gradient to it, make that first one white, and we're going to make the second one a little darker gray and push it towards the edges. And we're going to make another one and do the same thing. Alright, we are looking good. Now we're just going to group them, copy them, and then paste. And we're going to try to move it over. And voila! We have successfully created an orb kitty! And once you are satisfied, just save it, and there you have it. A well-made cartoon kitty.